Well, let's just say that 14-year-old does find you amusing, but also is learning a load about business, a load about life, the real life, because that's what you're all about, is talking about real life. So are we. Clear, direct, and honest. A lot of the times that's not easy.
You might be offended if I say every other word, but you wouldn't be offended if I didn't. So if I don't, I won't offend anybody, but if I do, I'll offend some people. And then I think to myself, well, because dude, if you get offended over a word, you need to call Real Frequency. What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, I got a real treat for you. Like every other day, my man Evan Moore is in the house.
Hey, Brad.
CEO and founder of Real Frequency, the Real Frequency Agency.
That's right.
Now, clearly, one of the reasons why I wanted you on the show is because I'm all about frequency. And I believe that what you frequently see becomes or is because of your frequency.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, the name derived from the signal your brain sends to your body to react to certain situations. And if you're too high or too low, those decisions you're making in the moment probably won't be long lasting. They most likely won't turn out real well for you. Our real frequency is when we're in flow, when things feel stable, when you can make a decision with confidence and really understand you have all the information, you have the tools, you have the strength to do it. But before you can do that, you need to be trained. You need to understand that it takes practice, it takes experience.
So Real Frequency, folks, is kind of an organization that brings life solutions or solutions for life, really, to the youth of America, the youths, right?
The youths, yes.
or as they say on My Uncle Vinny, or I think it's My Uncle Vinny.
My
Utes.
cousin Vinny?
Yeah, my cousin.
Yeah.
Utes. The Utes of the world.
Right.
Which, again, when you get them young, obviously you shape the future because the youth is the future.
That's all we got.
It's all we got. And nowadays, I'm a little bit concerned, with all the nonsense that's going on.
Yeah.
So I like your movement is all I'm saying. Your cause, helping kids get their minds right. Mm-hmm. Not just kids, but, young adults. What was your college program? Like, that's how it all started. Tell me a little bit about how all this started. Like, why are you in this whole world?
Yeah, it's a surprise to me. If 15 years ago, if you told me I was doing this, you'd have shocked me, or I'd have told you you're crazy because I had no interest in it or zero experience.
What were you doing?
Nothing great. Drinking a lot, graduate school, thinking I was going to conquer the world without having to work for it. It was a whole nother.
What was
life.
your drink of choice?
Anything that got me drunk.
But you didn't have a drink of choice?
Light beer, because I could drink a lot of it.
Light beer?
Yeah, a shitload of.
Was it Bud Light?
It was Coors Light.
What
Bud
do you
Light,
feel
Rolling
about
Rock.
Bud Light now?
I don't even think about it.
I know, but you see the big controversy. They're losing billions because they put that transgender guy on the cover.
Yes,
on the cans.
Right.
Now, supposedly, if you drink Bud Light, you're gay, which is obviously stupid.
I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
I know, but no, that's what they're saying. But it's
yeah.
just stupid, obviously, because obviously it doesn't make you gay.
Right.
But it's funny because you don't see the videos. Like, they'll reach in the cooler and grab a Bud Light, and then all of a sudden become really feminine. But mainly because they're trying to be pissed about Budweiser putting a guy by the name of Dylan Mulvaney or something like that, who dresses up like a girl or is a transgender, and everyone freaks out.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Neil deGrasse Tyson has a great saying.
Hey, by the way, I got him coming on.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Oh my gosh. To share a stage with him, or at least,
you were here before him.
I was here before NDT.
Yeah, when he says I did the job, Mom would be like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, exactly. I have a tattoo on the inside of my arm, and it's backwards, so I can see it in the mirror. But it says, the universe is under no obligation to make sense to you. And what that allows me and tells me is that when situations like this arise, I don't have a say in the game. I don't quite understand it, but doesn't mean I can't accept it or at least move on from it. And don't allow it to bog me down, to distract me from doing good things, being kind, being gracious.
How tall are you?
6'6".
So did you ever play like sports or anything? Is this were you a big NBA star? What were you?
I wish. I love sports. I played track and football in high school, and I didn't have the wherewithal to really buckle down, or the mindset to believe that I could do something greater than, graduate from high school and move on, or whatever the next steps would hold for me. Which brings us back to why I'm doing what I'm doing. You
didn't try basketball?
No, it's terrible. My son is 15. He's 6'3". He's a phenomenal basketball player. So
is he a better football player or basketball?
Basketball.
Because there's a difference,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you being 6'6", were you that way in high school?
I was 6'4", 210.
Yeah, like, dude, you would think basketball is your natural sport from the height.
I got the height, but not the coordination, and it came later. I mean, I grew 2 inches after high school.
Okay, so once you graduated high school, you started dicking around, getting drunk, hanging around the wrong people. What?
Yeah, I had an idea that college might be something I'd want to do, but my parents had nothing to do with it. They knew that considering my history, considering the genes that we have with alcoholism, that college probably wouldn't be the right choice for me. So dad and mom said, you're out of the house. You have a choice, military or you're on your own. So I went to the military.
So your parents are the only parents on the history of the planet that said they do not want you going to college. That is not a good option for you. Matter of fact, if you go to college, your ass is out of here. You only have one choice to stay in our good graces, and that is the military.
That's right.
I was going to say the medical school, but the military.
Much different. Yeah.
That's the craziest thing, dude. Was your dad in the military?
He was.
Well, that's why, because he knows it would do you good.
Yeah. He did.
So he said military or nothing, and you said, well, obviously then I'm out.
Yeah. I said I have to join the Air Force, and I did.
Oh, so you did go in the military?
I sure did.
And then that taught you obviously discipline and whatnot. How long were you in the military?
Just the one stint. And it taught me so much about, mistakes, growing. I mean, I was so immature, bro, and so aloof. I mean, the pressures that I was dealing with then are so much different than the pressures that students now are dealing with. And I could barely string anything together. I could barely string decisions that would propel me to success or feel real good about myself. That time was really critical for me to be in a place where I could make mistakes, where I had accountability, and not just from mom and dad, but from forces that were like, could change my life. And I realized through it, working really, really hard is how you get shit done. That there is no other important relationship than the one that's within you and your brethren, particularly within the military, because you're going through it together. And those are the ones that are going to pull you through really difficult times. And, for the most part, those that I was enlisted with decided to separate just about the same time. But we came out different people. We came out changed. We came out with somewhat of a purpose. My problem is I continued to drink really heavily, and I couldn't get out of my own way.
Now, when you say drink heavily, are we talking about like once or twice a week you go out with your friends and get hammered?
I would do that and then drink in between.
Well, like every single day you're drinking?
Every day.
Were you the kind that if you didn't get alcohol, you'd shake?
In the end, yeah.
Dude, that's a straight up alcoholic.
100%.
Damn. So you were a straight up alcoholic.
Straight up.
Damn.
260 pounds. Fat.
How much you weigh now?
200.
Because 260 doesn't necessarily mean you're fat. You're 6'6"?
I will send you pictures.
I know, 6'6", 260 could be also buff as son of a bitch.
It could. It was the wrong kind of weight, for sure.
So you were out of shape. You were freaking an alcoholic, legitimately an alcoholic. What were you doing for work?
For my undergrad, I was in
Who supported all this financially?
I did.
How?
Well, that's the other thing is when I was 21, mom and dad knew I was drinking a lot. I was living in the Bay Area.
Would you classify yourself as a party animal?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so you're a party animal in the Bay Area. Keep going.
Party animal in the Bay Area. And as you probably understand, the Bay Area is filled with party animals.
Sure. Now just animals.
Now just, right.
You been there lately?
I have not been back in years.
Well, dude, go look at San Francisco.
Oh, it was getting bad when I was there.
I cannot believe that's the same city that I used to say was an unbelievable, beautiful city.
I would say the same.
Now it's an unbelievable, shitty city. Legitimately and literally shitty.
And no offense to Gavin Newsom, but he was the mayor of San Francisco when I was there. So I don't want to get political either. I have to remain somewhat neutral in a way because, again, that's out of my control. But it was alarming. How
do you manage kids' frequencies when it comes to politics?
We have clients all over the board, right? We have those that are ultra liberal. We have transgender clients. We have very conservative. We have Mormon, Christian, Catholic, Hindu.
Because you know why? Because they're all people.
Yes.
And all people, all kinds of people are afflicted by I would say a poor mindset. What do you call like when you work with someone, you get their mindset strong, you get them capable in life, right? Essentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you call it when they're not capable and like a bad mindset, a poor mindset? What do you call that?
They are unengaged and they just don't have the tools. They're unprepared.
But that's why. But what do you call that? Like this person has frequency and this one has a low frequency.
Right.
You go from low to high?
Yes. So the way our signal is, if you look at our logo, if you're too high and you're making decisions, when adrenaline is pumping, it's like when...
Yeah, but don't I want to operate in a high frequency?
Not always.
No?
So...
That's what I've been doing wrong.
It's funny. I was watching some of your videos and you ask people like, what if I gave you $10 million? What would you do? How happy would you be? And they're just like ecstatic and crazy. And I would do this and buy this. And they go bonkers. And then you say, well, what if you woke up dead the next day, but it was because I gave you the $10 million. And they're like, oh, I don't want that. They're making decisions without all of the information. And it just goes to show you how quickly they can go from really amped high frequency to really low, feeling like I don't have any choice, feeling like there are no options for me in this world.
Well, there's a lot of people out there like that.
Tons.
And that's who you're reaching out to?
We help them all.
But
non-discriminatory.
Yeah, but once they get a positive mindset, once they realize that's all nonsense, now they're out there trucking along. Are you saying that it's possible that a year later they just get affected again?
The tools that we instill are lifelong, right? They are tools that many adults don't even have. I had gained some of these tools through my own experience and mistakes that I've made in my life. And then lo and behold, there's assessments and there's professionals out there. And we have, again, a stable of horses that work for real frequency that are true professionals within just about every area.
It's almost like you're a counseling organization.
Yeah. We're a launch agency.
Yeah. Is that a thing or did you coin that?
Have you ever read the book Play Bigger?
No.
Play Bigger talks about when you're in a business, you create your own category. And we've created launch agency within this category. We're truly the only one in the industry that does it so comprehensively and works with the type of clientele that we do.
You might be the only one that does it, period.
If
I went and Googled, show me launch agencies, would I get a bunch? Would your name show up?
Some rocket launching, who knows? I would hope that our SEO guys are that good. Yeah.
Well, they should be. And I'll bet you they are. If there's any articles that says launch agency and you're connected to it, they probably would show up for you.
It's important.
All that is just searching, word crawling,
right?
Essentially. And I'm sure you guys have something that says the launch agency.
It's everywhere.
So And again, I don't want to bounce you from here to there because I want you to be able to finish a thought. So if I'm ever like jumping you somewhere else and you wanted to finish a thought, make sure you tell me. I'll get people saying, dude, you didn't let him finish what he was talking about. That's because I forget that this is for other people to hear. I'm just talking to you like I want to know.
I love it.
And then they get to hear it later. So I get people upset because I cut you off. And the only reason I cut you off sometimes is because if I don't, number one, I'll forget. Number two, you said something that I want to drill in on.
I love it.
So going back to, you were in the military, you got out of the military, obviously. Mm-hmm. Now you're an alcoholic, a legitimate alcoholic. How are you funding life? What are you doing for a living? You're not training kids how to be smart.
No, absolutely not.
So what are you doing for a living?
Scratching and clawing. I did sales. My undergrad
What
was
kind of sales?
Oh gosh, man, I sold synthetic turf, cars. I know it's
hey, nothing wrong with that, dog.
Nothing wrong with that,
man.
Absolutely.
I cut my teeth there.
Yeah.
I think cars, by the way, is a great boot camp for people.
Love it. Love it.
Listen, I don't believe anyone in life is going to be successful without selling something to somebody.
They must.
So you better figure out that you're going to need to be good in sales if you want to succeed. So the question is, do you want to succeed? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, I do. Well, then you're going to need to learn sales. Yes or no? Yes, I do. I can show you how to sell something. This person's book, this person's course, just go out there and consume yourself with selling. Okay. The next thing I would say is your mindset. Because to me, Evan, what I believe is this. There's three things that are going to matter in your life. Okay. To be successful, I'm talking about. Number one is your mindset. Because without that, you're in big trouble. That's what you mess with. And I'll bet you mess with all of them by the time it's done, because it starts with mindset. Then your habits, your mindset, your habits, and your skills. So maybe your skills aren't very good. You're probably not going to be very successful. But if your mindset's good and your habits are good, but your skill sets are decent, you'll probably do okay too. See what I'm saying?
Sure.
But your mindset has to be there. Mm-hmm. Your skill sets, again, these are all just categories. You know, if you said to Brad, how do I make more money? I'm going to look at your mindset. I'm going to look at your skill set, and I'm going to look at your habits. And those will tell me kind of where your future is going.
Or if you have a future at all.
Period.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the bottom line.
Very much so. Now take a 17-year-old kid or 18-year-old kid that's got real promise, whether it's academics or sports. We have a lot of sports agencies that work with us. Really the high achieving athlete that may go D1, D2, D3, NAIA. And we help them along their process, but they also need to have a great mindset. The pressure's real. I was talking to a ex-professional baseball player, retired baseball player, and he and his brother made it pretty far in the bigs, and his brother made it much farther than him, won a few World Series, and he said it all had to do with his mindset and his ability to take what was coming at him. It was coming so fast, and it affected his play. Now, we understand that when he's under pressure and he's making decisions at a moment's notice, he may stop. It may affect his, fast twitch muscles. And scouts may say, oh, he's lacking in athletic ability. Actually, no. Some scouts said that he was going to be better than his brother. Well, what happens is it slows you down. It slows you down to make a right decision in the moment with confidence that's going to be long lasting. Now, when you take a moment to think about it, particularly when you're playing a very high speed game, it will crush you. That's when the devil slips in and really starts screwing with your head.
So if I'm listening to this and I have kids or utes in my world, and I'm listening to this, I'm a little older, or maybe I'm a little older and I'm listening to this, what would be some of the fundamental things I could go almost estimate and see if I'm, almost gauge to see where am I in these categories? What if someone doesn't realize their frequency's messed up or their mindset's limited?
There are signs that we have on a daily basis that tell us that maybe we're not in the right place. And a lot of it has to do with happiness and engagement. in your ability to peel yourself out of bed and get motivated to take on the day.
Okay. Do you agree or disagree that happiness is a choice?
Yes, I do. Now, how you attain it is action, and it might not be as easy as flipping a switch in the morning and be like, I'm going to be happy. I believe that,
but it is a choice.
Oh, sure.
And a choice can be made.
Choice can be made. If it can't be attained by you making a choice, it's got to be attained by you taking action to find it.
Well, again, but the choice is I'm going to be happy. Like, for example, my choice, Evan, is I'm going to be happy regardless. Why? That's that $1 million morning thing. See, you almost got it right. What I didn't say, would you trade it? Because then that signifies that by getting the 10, you died the next day. I'm saying, if I gave you 10, how would you feel? They say, oh, I feel amazing. But if I gave you 10 million and said you wouldn't wake up, you wouldn't want it. They say no. So you agree waking up is worth more than 10 million. Yes. Okay. If you know that waking up is worth more than $10 million, then why wouldn't you get as excited every day that you woke up?
Right.
Which I do. I've tricked my brain into believing that, to where when I wake up in the morning, dude, I get so freaking excited, or my frequency shoots up. I have the advantage over everybody else in life. Why? Because of that very simple choice. I'm going to be happy no matter what. Like, I'm happy. Why? Because I'm alive, bro. I'm happy. Why? Because I'm breathing, because I can see you, because I know you, because I've got a microphone and I've got power in a big fancy office. Like, I've got clients and friends and family and life. And like, dude, someone comes along and has a shitty day and they get all butthurt because they're not appreciating every damn thing they've got in their life. Yeah. Bottom line. So like, I think I have an advantage because of that.
You have an advantage because of experience.
Well, that's what gave it to me. But it was a choice. You got to choose. You got to choose to be happy.
You've created a phenomenal life for yourself, your family. I've met all of your employees. They are phenomenal. They are good people. They are down-to-earth people. They care. They welcome me today with open arms, as if, I've met them once before.
What did they try to sell you?
Yeah. This was not like when we were at Caesar's Palace last night, walking through, trying to.
Did anyone try to sell you anything?
Oh God, every step of the way.
No, here.
Oh no.
Here at Lightspeed, no one tried to sell you shit?
A hug.
That's it?
I'm a client.
Dude, man. Ain't nobody here trying to sell you anything? Tell the truth.
They're all fired?
No, but tell the truth.
No.
See?
That's not what it's about.
Now again, there'd be people rolling over in their graves hearing this.
Right.
And then there'd be people going, yeah, that's the place I want to do business.
Exactly.
Because like you said, but you said you're a client. So I'm not training my employees to find out how much more money I can get from this guy. Mm-hmm. Some of us do. Some of us do that. Right. Now, should I lean a little more towards that? Should I offer you something else?
Should you now?
Yeah, no, like should I as a company?
Well, if you're focusing on the root, not the fruit, then you understand that our partnership will blossom, it'll grow. My success is predicated on yours and vice versa. Like we know that. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's a good way to be, I think.
Yeah, that's why we decided to partner with you. It's been phenomenal.
So you like that aspect?
I love that aspect.
See, that's because you have the right frequency.
That's right.
There might be people out there with the wrong frequency, right? Which, and to me, when I hear the word frequency, to me, it just means your viewpoint, like your vibration. When people say, how do I sell something? I say, believe it or not, you need to stop selling and start helping. See the difference? Like when I'm selling you something, I need to pay commission. I'm looking for a check. I'm looking to enrich myself. I got to accomplish this. I have to conquer you to accomplish this, right? I'm selling you something.
Right.
And most people's mindset, their frequency in that position is one of aggression. Like I'm against you. We're not together. We're not a team. I'm not helping you. I'm helping me. I'm going to close your ass.
Right.
Well, they got to stop thinking like that and start thinking like, I just want to help your ass. Like, dude, how can I help you? I don't know if I can sell you anything, bro. Why? Because that ain't my motive. Right. My motive is how can I help this dude? So as soon as you say, I want to help this dude, well, your vibration changes, your frequency changes, and by the way, frequencies attract other frequencies, or, it's like a radio. You can only hear 98.5 at 98.5. You turn that dial, you're not hearing it anymore.
That's right.
So what frequency are you on will determine what you're getting in your head. And a lot of people are in these negative, low frequency states because of parents, because of a lack of parents, because of friends, because of a lack of friends. I mean, there's all these reasons. And you look at these people and you think, oh, they're happy. They seem to be happy. And then all of a sudden they commit suicide, right, or they rob a bank, or they shoot up a school. Why? Why are they doing this? Well, if you look at it probably deeply, it's their frequency, dude.
Absolutely.
That's why it's important what you're doing out there. That's why I said we got to get old Evan on the podcast. Why? Because there's a lot of people out there, either them themselves or they have kids that need to have a mindset shift. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So what do you teach them to begin with?
Yeah. And well, let me just say, you are helping others by helping us and expand our message. It goes back to the book, Play Bigger, in that our category is that of a launch agency, but we are also like required by our own ethos, by our own accord and our principles to let everybody know that we exist, and we are fucking really good at what we do. Like, we change lives. I could share with you, if it wasn't for some Privacy of Information Act text messages that I get, just conversations that I have with people when I travel. We have clients all over the United States, but moms weeping in my shoulder, thanking me. And this is just one kid.
I know, but see, this is why I'm trying to, when I was going through your timeline, like, at what point were you a drunk bum, alcoholic,
let me get to
bad
that.
Frequency? Now all of a sudden you're helping kids with their frequency.
I know, right? Let me back up. We can get into this. I think it's really important you understand and know that I was diagnosed with ADD at a very early age. Right?
So was I, technically.
Well, it explains the way that your podcasts are run, which, by the way, are fascinating, and it's how you get to the good meat, right?
But my parents refused to allow them to put me on Ritalin, which is what they wanted me on.
Right.
Ritalin. Nowadays it's now it's Adderall.
Adderall is dextro. Let's see.
It's meth.
Yeah. Right.
Speed.
It is for those.
We're drugging our children with Adderall.
Well, okay. Let me push back a little bit, because there's
don't make me get Tom Cruise into it.
Oh no. Yes. Well, that's a whole nother thing. Scientology. That'd be fascinating.
Well, they believe medicine doesn't work at all.
It's all in your head. It's placebo, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Again, I don't know what to believe. I do know this, though. If you got a fucked up mindset, dude, you're more than likely got a fucked up life.
Absolutely. It's your environment. And that's when we have clients that are thrust into our organization and it's chaos. And it usually, yes, stems from mom and dad, or it stems from the organization that they play for, whether it's an AAU team or, a very high pressure, elite competitive sports team. There's dysfunction within the interworkings of the coaching and the admissions administration and the parents. It really can be difficult to parse that out when you're a kid, right? Having to deal with that and make sense of all the noise. So yes, not only that, add social media. I mean, I hate to sound cliche, and you and I use social media you are on it all the time. You're one of my favorite feeds. Every time I open it up, you're there. There's Brad. Talking about this and that.
I'm gonna continue to pour out more content, but I'm gonna elevate it a bit.
Cool. Good. What are you gonna do?
I'm just gonna put a little more structure, like framework, to my madness.
You and me both.
I think I'm going to tame the ADD version. Because again, like you said, that explains the podcast tempo and stuff. Well, to me, and again, I mean, I personally don't think it's ADD. I think it's like it's the opposite. In other words, attention deficit disorder, meaning you're not giving things enough attention. No, enough things aren't keeping my attention. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can give fucking Call of Duty my attention for fucking hours. Why?
Hyper-focused. Yeah.
Well, because again, it's kick ass. I'm into it. I don't lose my attention on a fucking video game. Then why am I losing my attention on people? Yeah. Well, because they're saying something or something is like, nope, I don't want nothing to do with that. So you help people from 15 to 25.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you there's people over that are still like me, same way, like technically, clinically probably diagnosed with ADD, but we don't believe that. How do you help those people? Like, I don't believe that I have ADD.
Well, it's one thing believing.
And I thought it was ADHD, by the way.
That now they're interchanged. And I'm not a neuropsychologist.
Do you know what a kid with ADD has for breakfast?
What?
I don't know. You want to ride bikes?
Yes, touche. That's very good. Here's where we struggle, or where those that have ADD struggle to at least admit it, or at least understand how to leverage it.
You teach them this?
What's that?
You teach people this?
Oh, absolutely. We're like a magnet for.
So would you say get your kid on Adderall or don't get your kid on Adderall?
That I just spoke with a family, a private client. We do one-to-ones as well, particularly with special cases. And the mom and dad do not feel comfortable with prescribing narcotics. And that's fine. I respect it.
But what do you think?
I think that something has to be done. An evaluation needs to be done. Some support needs to be brought into place for this young person to be successful. Whether it's, and listen, life's not fair. Neither is it equal. It's just not. So we need to stop saying that. The process of college admissions, the process of NIL, sports, it's not equal. It certainly isn't fair. Not everybody gets their own shake at it, but we need to understand how our strengths, if we can define them, are going to make it as accessible and opportunistic as everybody else. That's why it's important we meet with so many young athletes. Like engagement. Do you have undiagnosed ADD? Do you have symptoms? And if you do, you're going to have some strengths in there like nobody else. Let's go back to you saying that you don't have a deficit. You can. Call of Duty is badass, right? You're on it for 5 hours a day. The wife, the kid, they're like in the background. They're like, Brett. And you don't even hear them. You're in a different planet.
No,
right?
They're glued to it. They're watching me freaking murk people.
Blast people away. Here's the thing is that's a real skill.
And just for the record, I'm not on Call of Duty 5 hours a day.
I can't imagine you would be. You don't have time to do that.
Well, I do have, I designed my life to have a little time.
With the family.
Well, again, time. Sure. How you spend it is irrelevant. I mean, I think it's relevant. It is relevant, but I mean, in this conversation, it's irrelevant. But I personally like family time a little bit more than the most guys. Why? Because I like my family.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like right now, if you said, hey, let's go grab dinner afterwards. I got 3 little girls sitting at home that freaking love when I get there. And then we just laugh and giggle and play. And then I freaking, put them to bed. Then I might, shoot a few people real quick before I hit the sack. But the free time I'm talking about is I think I designed my life to have a little more time than people might imagine. Everyone thinks I'm busy, which I am because I stay busy, but I got time.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that because you're unofficial diagnosed ADD.
Which, by the way, could turn into dementia maybe at some point.
I don't know if that's founded. I'm sure
sometimes I'm searching for words.
Like these guys are butchering what ADD is and what it can be.
But sometimes I'm searching for a word lately. Before, dude, I'd surgically pick out words. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah. And now sometimes I'm trying to say something. I'm like, well, let me elevate my normal, game a little bit. So let me search for my words a little more intelligently. Yeah. And that causes me to sometimes go, fucking word am I looking for? Yeah. Like, I don't know if that's like old age setting in. Is that dementia setting in? Is that Alzheimer's setting in?
I think you're not in flow at that point.
You're not in flow, 100%.
You've stepped out of your normal realm.
Because when I'm in flow, I can feel it. How do we stay in flow? Can you teach people how to stay in flow?
Absolutely.
There's a freaking deal bomb right there. That's what people need right there. They need to figure out how to stay in flow.
Absolutely. And there is
in flow. I'm going to freaking coin that shit. I'm going to go start something with that.
Colin Henderson, he works on our mindset. He's our official mindset director. He's on a lot of the videos that we do in Lightspeed.
That's freaking, I'm going to name my mastermind In Flow.
In Flow. What's flow backwards?
Wolf.
Right. Now we all have these good wolves and bad wolves on our shoulder telling us what to do and vying for our attention. Now, which wolf are you going to feed, the good or the bad? What we find is when we feed that good wolf, flow comes a lot more. It transitions. We're able to grasp it. We're able to recall it anytime we need it.
What about cold plunging?
Oh, you mean so the physical find and flow? I think it's awesome.
Have you cold plunged?
Absolutely.
Do you cold plunge?
When I can.
So that means no.
Well, no.
If you don't do it every day or consistently, you don't cold plunge. You cold plunge when you do it consistently. Like you could say, I do it 4 times a week. That's cold plunging. Even once a week, boom, that's cold plunging, but it's not very good. I mean, it's not very much. But do you consistently jump in a tub of 40-degree water?
No, I need to.
Well, I don't know if you need to,
want to.
But some people do, because apparently it does wonders for depression, like wonders. Mm-hmm. Now, I've never been a depressed individual. Mm. You know, I've been depressed a couple times, like, my dog died or some shit, like, temporarily depressed. But I've never been a depressed person.
Do you get anxious?
I don't really get anxious. What do you mean by anxious?
Anxiety.
No anxiety.
Okay.
I've never had any back pain, knee pain, shoulder pain. Like I've lived pain-free. I've lived pain-free my entire life.
That's amazing.
I know.
Even after working out as much as you
do. It's like crazy as shit. Like I'm the luckiest dude that walks the planet of the earth.
I think you are.
I think it's because of gratitude.
Yes. I think a little bit has to do with your F8 out there too.
But when I hear certain people say, I'm depressed, I always think again, and I know that I'm clinically wrong because depression's real. Yeah. And there's people out there suffering from depression that I think, number one, should cold plunge because apparently it does wonders for that. I don't know because I've never been depressed, but I know people that have been and, currently are depressed clinically, and they say it changed their freaking life. So I was just wondering if you guys had any cold plunge therapy thoughts.
I'm all for it. I'm all for anything that's going to further your journey to recovery if you are in need of rehab. What we call our work is pre-hab, in strengthening the mindset for when you do feel depressed or something does try to knock you off of your trajectory. It's important, just like you work out your muscles and your biceps.
How do you know?
You talk about it a lot. And dude, the last 3 months, I saw you, March? Maybe like you've put on a considerable amount of muscle since then. I'm not kissing your ass.
I got lean.
Oh, you did?
And then I got chunky again, and now I'm getting lean again. So
there's
a brief phase where I look bulky and decent, but it goes away as soon as you get past a certain level.
Oh, you're cycling creatine?
No. What do you mean?
Was it creatine?
What does that mean, cycling?
Like going through 9 weeks on, 9 weeks off?
Is that how you're supposed to do it?
Yeah.
Shit, I do a scoop of creatine every night in my fucking pre-workout drink, or my intro workment.
That's why you're.
Am I cycling? Is that what it does? I may be.
If there's a professional out there listening, comment and respond.
Dude, does creatine do that?
I believe it. Now, again, not a nutritionist.
I've been drinking creatine as instructed by a bodybuilder dude in my intro workout every day.
Okay. I would listen to him.
So again, but if that's it, it's like, oh shit, dude, if I stop that creatine, I'd freaking get leaner again. Because I want to be lean. I don't want to be this big, bulky, fat neck dude anymore.
Right.
Hey, you want to spend an hour a week with me helping you become a business badass? Well, check out my group in the link below.
The other day, someone saw me at the hockey game. I'm on the front row, the glass, and someone was behind me, shooting a picture down to show me that they're above me. Yeah. And, I'm sitting there and they send me this picture, dude, and I look like a hunched over old frog. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, what am I doing?
Right.
Like, look at me. And not only that, but like, I can't be that healthy walking around. Now, some people might be thinking, well, he ain't that fat. And I'm not really. I'll bet you I'm no more than 16% body fat. Maybe 18, max 20. But I think ideally I want to be around 12. Well, I think at 12% body fat, you'll see me back like you did in March where I was leaner.
Right.
Because you think I just look bigger, bulkier.
Yeah, I mean thicker, right?
Thicker. But again, I think it's just creatine, water weight. Yeah, a little fat that I packed on. Because what happened is I ran into a dude that started talking to me about macros.
Yeah.
So don't worry about this diet and that diet,
right.
Just do macros. And I'm like, okay, what are my macros? So he gave me X amount of carbs a day. And he said, no matter what, you got to hit your macros. So like sometimes my macros were low. So you go home and it's like, hey, my macros are low. What do? Not your macros, my carbs. My carbs are low, which is a macro. So I'd say, well, I got to eat a bagel. Why? Well, because I need some carbs. You got to eat carbs. And they say it doesn't matter what you eat.
You have to.
Doesn't matter what you eat as long as they're carbs. It could be a baked potato, could be a sweet potato. As long as you get your carbs, doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. So I just do my macros. And then all of a sudden I got freaking heavy again. I'm thick. I want to be thick.
But were you working out too?
Mostly, yeah. I take a week off here and a week off there, but generally.
Okay. That might affect you a little bit.
Yeah.
I think your bodybuilding buddy might disagree with your.
Well, he didn't say if you don't work out, don't do the carbs.
Right.
But here's what I did. I said, fuck that. I know what I feel like. Yeah. I don't need someone telling me what to do because I know what my body feels like. I know when I feel lean in the morning. I know when I feel good. And when I feel good, believe it or not, it's no carbs, no processed meats, no bullshit, sugary crap. Yeah. Just, meat and vegetables pretty much. And fruit and nuts.
That's your diet?
Meat, vegetables, fruit, and nuts.
And that's what keeps you in your real frequency.
Yeah, but no, that's where I'm at, and that's why I'm leaning back down.
Gotcha.
So it'll take another 6 months. I mean, if you do it right, dude, I don't know if you're a nutritionist or you know about it, but you're only supposed to be losing 2 pounds a week healthily.
Right. Well, when I quit drinking, I lost 60 pounds in 4 months. And I went nuts.
That's 15, 4 months, you say? Mm-hmm. So 16 weeks. And how many pounds?
60.
So that's 4 pounds a week.
Yeah.
So about doubled in healthily.
Well, here's where my ADD and my hyper focus came in is I went from ultra focused on drinking to ultra focused on fitness, which on the onset would be fantastic. That's much better. So you
traded one vice for another.
Yeah, it almost killed me too. I haven't had a drop of alcohol in over 10 years.
Now again, so that to me means you're not an alcoholic anymore.
Oh no, I'm very much an alcoholic.
You are not.
If I have one drink,
but
this is what I tell my team and my family. If I did, I would say,
but you don't.
No, I don't.
So quit thinking about if you did. Well, you don't.
I need to remind myself.
And the fact that you don't says that you're not an alcoholic because an alcoholic needs to. Yes. An alcoholic, if I say this person's an alcoholic, it tells somebody that they are craving alcohol. Do you crave alcohol every day?
No. But it was a trained, it took time.
That's because you were an alcoholic and now you're no longer one, which is, I don't know why alcoholics don't want people to say that because then, they'll fall back in. You're just assuming they will. Right. I don't think you're ever going to fall back in. If you say, I'm no longer an alcoholic, I fucking beat it. The answer would be true as long as you never, ever again drank. Now, if you fell off the wagon, let's say in a month because you said, I'm no longer an alcoholic and you fell off the wagon and they've seen that over and over and over. Now I understand why they don't want you saying that you're not an alcoholic anymore.
Right.
But in my book, anyone who's not touched alcohol for any length of time is cured.
I wished it was that easy.
Good job. You beat it. Yeah. So feel good about it. Move along and fucking don't let that vice get you again.
Definitely not. And my
just like Coke, dude. You ever done Coke?
Oh yeah.
Okay. How come you're not hooked on Coke?
It's environmental.
See, I know, but I've done
expensive,
Coke.
Made me feel
I ain't
like
hooked
shit.
on Coke.
Right. That's environmental. My vice was always alcohol.
Yeah, but alcohol, weed, it's all the same shit, dude. Working out, sex, it's called addiction.
Right.
It's called obsession. It's called hyper-focused. If you get hyper-focused on, one thing, playing piano, I think you're going to end up being one of the best piano players out there. Yeah. The question is it a positive focus or is it a negative? And alcohol's negative.
Right.
Cocaine is a negative.
It's a poison.
I guarantee you, I'll never meet anybody who is better off doing it than not. And that includes alcohol, even though I still drink here and there, but only because I don't need to. Like I get peer pressure all the time. Dude, have a drink, have a drink, have a shot, have a drink, have a shot. I never drink. But every once in a while, I feel like having one, I'll have one. Why? Because every once in a while, dude, you want a little freaking glass of wine.
For sure.
Now, if it's not going to lead me to a life of fucking destruction,
right,
why can't I have a glass of wine?
And I wouldn't recommend quitting alcohol to anybody unless it's causing them problems.
But if you had a glass of wine, your whole life would be fucked again.
You might as well put me in the fucking ground.
So you are addicted to alcoholic behavior.
Yes. So let's just say this is that alcoholism is a symptom of the problem.
We're gonna have counselors and psychiatrists sitting here saying, "Who the fuck are these guys?"
It's gonna be great. And I will tell you that I can only speak from my personal experience. What I need to do to stay sober and help people and understand where they're coming from, meet them where they are. That even goes to the youths that we're helping, because alcohol, drugs, fentanyl is a huge thing coming back. Like we need to wrap our heads around what this actually can do. I'm not one to say don't have a drop of alcohol for the rest of your life.
will be the one. Dude, see what I mean? Like you should stand stronger in that.
Oh, no.
Be the one that says, do not touch alcohol. Do not touch fentanyl. Do not touch any kind of pill. Do not touch fucking any kind of drug.
God. Oh, no. And let me make this very clear. When it comes to illicit drugs, 100% absolutely do not. We're having a police officer on our
fentanyl is an illicit drug, wouldn't it be?
Very much so. It's killing tens and thousands of young people.
Dude, it kills people supposedly from just touching it.
Yes. It is
nasty.
Like,
dude, this should be outlawed 1,000,000 times. How are people getting it? And why would any kid, knowing full blown that it kills people, why would they do it?
It's the cartel, man. They know they're some of the best marketers out there.
But what does it make you feel like?
I've never taken it.
Have you talked to anyone that was hooked on fentanyl?
I've talked to law enforcement that is in the business of breaking it down and eradicating it. But it sounds like it's a huge lift, man. It's an uphill battle.
Okay, so you would tell people not to do it.
No, hell no. Yeah, do not touch. Do not even get close to it. It is not like when we were kids.
Even if it was, dude, it leads nowhere.
No, it's
and I'll tell kids of any age or adults the same thing. Mm-hmm. And anyone can feel free to debate me. Like, you think cocaine could lead to something greater? It's not going to. You think alcohol can lead to something greater? A lot of times people say, well, dude, I've made a lot of deals over cocktails. We had a lot of fun. Again, social drinking. What's wrong with it? In my opinion, nothing. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with it if you can socially drink. But a lot of people, they cannot socially drink. Just because you can doesn't mean they can.
Definitely.
And I used to be the guy that couldn't, and now I can. Yeah. What's the difference?
Mindset.
I just changed my mindset about alcohol. Yeah. I used to think we're drinking to get fucked up. Otherwise, why would you drink?
Right.
Like, what does it taste like? Shit.
Well,
alcohol does not taste good, bro. Like, think about it. Now, beer, maybe. Again, if you have a beer
nice,
palate,
crisp beer, sure.
Oh, nice ice cold beer on a hot date.
Right.
Nothing tastes better. But again, like chug one and you're done. Yeah. But my point is generally alcohol doesn't taste good. Yeah. So people aren't drinking to because it tastes like it tastes. Imagine what a vodka soda if it didn't do anything to you if you drink them.
Oh God, why?
Yeah. That's all I did to my head. I said, fucking, why drink this shit unless I'm going to get drunk? And I'm not going to get drunk. I'm making a choice not to get drunk because I don't want to get drunk, look cross-eyed, drive drunk, accidentally hit people. Every time I've been drunk, it never turned out better.
Right.
I never woke up with more friends and more money, because I was
Usually
drunk.
less friends and less money.
Usually it was.
My experience. Yeah.
And the last time I got hammered, we drank a bunch of wine. I started calling my friend and his wife, which she's also a friend.
Mm-hmm.
She's a stuck-up bitch. Probably because she is a little bit. I don't know. I mean, there's always a little truth to when you're in those drunk rants.
Your slips, man.
But at the end of the day, dude, it was rude. It was mean, and I embarrassed my wife, and I embarrassed myself, and I embarrassed them. And it's like, dude, I thought when I woke up the next day, I'm like, I've done that 1,000 fucking times, and only an idiot doesn't learn from his fucking stupid mistakes. So I go, I'm never going to get drunk like that again, and never did. And it's only been a couple of years, so I can't claim as I conquered it, because maybe next year I will. But I can tell you that I never did since, and it was all a mindset shift. It was changing my frequency.
You have the environment and the support to actually, have the wherewithal to be like, that's the problem. And you're a good person. You are. Intrinsically, you are a good person. You're not evil. We all have our foibles. We all have our failures. And those that point out others are really insecure, have a hard time with being vulnerable on their own. Sometimes alcohol really helps them feel more confident and make those deals at a table.
Liquid courage.
And they feel like they can't make a deal without it. And
that's where cheating usually happens too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, let's say that's where the cheating mindset happens.
Okay.
Listen.
But again, like if my wife said, I want to go to my friends where they're going to have lunch and knit and literally not one drop of alcohol, that's different than, hey, I want to go with my friends to Cabo for the weekend where we're going to be shit-faced every night out drinking. Why? Because, dude, I've been shit-faced out drinking, and I've hooked up with chicks shit-faced and out drinking, and we shouldn't have been hooking up.
Right. Nothing good comes.
And when I say it was the alcohol that caused it, 1,000% it was the alcohol. In other words, if I'd have been stone cold sober, there's some that I would have anyway, but some stone cold sober moments, I would have said, oh, hell no. Yeah. But my dumb ass was drunkard and shit. Her dumb ass was drunkard and shit. And next thing you know, you're doing shit you shouldn't be doing.
You shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. And then you wake up and it's like, oh, I regret this and I regret that. Too late, motherfucker. Yeah. Because that shit was real. That happened. You can't take that back.
Right.
So it's like, you got to pay attention, man, to life, especially if you're younger. You're helping 15 to 25-year-olds. I know older demographic listens to me, so I'm going to encourage them to call you anyway. Maybe you can say, I'll help a 45-year-old.
Well, we do. I mean, again, we have programs for everybody, but the precipice here is the focus on youth and their mindset. And then the college transition, the sports transition. We have a time in space now that it is so critical. We wrap our hands around what this persistence looks like and what it's doing to a certain generation. Like literally 750,000 human beings drop out of college a year. Many of them are...
Well, a lot of them should be.
Oh, right. Or,
as we know, college isn't necessarily the answer, is it?
Here's the ROI. Coming from an independent education consultant, licensed by all means, I agree. College isn't for everybody after high school. Some education is, but moreover, and most importantly, is you're finding your real frequency, you're finding your strengths, how to engage, right? How to really focus and define those strengths, verbalize them, and then use them to your advantage. That's what we do.
Dude, it's probably because I kept interrupting on all these things, but I still haven't figured out the pivot point for you where you were a drunk kind of a loser. Yeah. And now you're helping them. Like there's usually some sort of transition story.
Well, I was getting to that. And then I think we were talking about fentanyl or McDonald's or something.
Okay. So you were back, you were kind of an alcoholic, running around, being a dick.
Being a total douche. And I knew I had something greater in me, right? With ADD, our brain uses different portions of it to make sense of things, right? So that's why Call of Duty for you might feed in like allows you to focus. It feeds that portion of your brain that's engaging. Whereas other subjects or people that you're integrating with, you have no interest in, or it bores you, won't stimulate that. Now, once I found my path and realized I need to go to grad school, first of all, I love selling, but it's not the life for me in that it's the only thing that's going to put bread on my table. I want to put bread on others' table too. I need to expand this. Let's go to graduate school. So I went into the School of Education and Sport and Athletic Administration, and it was a game changer for me. I realized, I can teach. I can be an administrator at the college level. That's where to make real change. That's really where I can affect more than just one people, but a whole organization. And then they're going to spread the love and the feeling of, look, listen, this educational institution was great. I learned more than just what's in the textbook. What I found was that there is so much bureaucracy and red tape within the college system. And it is doing wrong by so many because these young people are numbers and they don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the preparedness and the strength to come in there, know where they've been, know what they're doing, and know where they're going.
Okay, so how did you transition from fuck up to helper?
Yeah, thanks. Now you're keeping me on track. I appreciate it. Through grad school and through my first job at a college teaching, I finally realized I needed to get sober. And that was 10 and a half years ago, like I said before. And at that point, it made sense that I was not helping anybody. In fact, I was hurting people. And the one person in my life that believed in me, well, there's many, my parents, of course, but Jana, my love, my
rock,
my rock, man. I owe her so much. She's such an amazing human being and has put up with way more than she should have.
Don't the good ones always have to?
They do.
It seems like the good ones always have to put up with all the fucking shit. The shitty ones, they get the best.
Right.
The best ones, they get the shit.
Right. She, and listen, I'd be lying if I said that I have a drive in me that wants to be successful and help others so I can give her a life and provide a life for her that she deserves. Right. That is part of why I do what I do, because of that human being in my life. Without her, I don't want to say that, if she were to disappear or, divorce me, that I would fall right back into old habits.
Could though.
Yeah, sure. Which is why I tell people that I'm an alcoholic and I keep keeping myself in check.
So so everyone holds you accountable?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, dude, listen, there are real alcoholics out there to where like, they're sitting there thinking about alcohol and, I got to get my fucking hands on some vodka or something. I've known them, dude, where like, if you didn't give them alcohol, dude, they would lose it. Yeah. And they would start shaking.
Yeah. DTs, man, they can die.
Yeah.
They have a seizure.
They can die and have a seizure. So like literally they would go get a fucking bottle of alcohol and just almost like chug it. Like to me, that's an alcoholic. Someone that abuses alcohol is not necessarily, of course, again, I'm no psychiatrist. Don't listen to me. It's just why define everybody as an alcoholic just because they like to party? Right. I like to party. I drank a bunch of fucking alcohol. I wasn't an alcoholic. Why? Because alcoholics need alcohol. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Was someone calling you an alcoholic?
People have.
Dude.
When I say explain what an alcoholic is, people will say anytime alcohol does shit in your life that has negative consequences. Well, that's every fucking buddy, isn't it? Okay, so we're all alcoholics then. So they by that definition.
They spoiled it for you, man, because honestly, the only person that can define you as an alcoholic is you. Period. End of story.
Yeah, and I'm not one. And I don't think you're one.
Well, I believe you are not.
I think you were.
I believe I am.
I think you were. I think anyone who's licked it, has beat it, has cured themselves, is no longer one. Yeah. You are no longer an alcoholic, bro. Congratulations, by the way.
I can't believe this is the best day of my life.
You finally graduated.
I finally graduated. It took this long.
You went to grad school. It fucking took, how old are you now? So now it took 24. That long before you finally graduated. Okay, welcome to the real world.
Thank you.
You are no longer a fucking alkie, which, by the way, qualifies you to go talk to alkies. Why? Because you used to be one.
Yeah. I talked to many.
Now, you can't say I used to be an alcoholic. You have to say I am one.
I don't have to. Listen, we all have our own way to define it and have it make sense to us that it's going to resonate with us and others so we can help. So one of the creeds in
okay, but can I ask you just one more question, then I'll let it drop.
Yeah, please.
Let's say you lied a lot as a kid.
Sure.
Every time you turned around, you were lying.
Yeah.
And people called you a liar. Would they be telling the truth?
Unless I change my ways.
That you're a liar.
Right.
Right. And now, if you stopped lying, you don't lie anymore. Matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. You always tell the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. You got ridiculed so badly for lying, you don't dare lie ever again. Are you still a liar?
No.
Why not?
So you no longer commit lies.
You no longer drink.
That is a very compelling argument. I will give you that. That's one of the best.
I'm just trying to say, folks, it's okay to say I beat it. I won. Now, might you slide back? Yes, you might.
Sure.
But it's not going to be because you think you beat it.
Right.
Because if you think, oh, I beat it, now I can have one. No. That's not how it works. If you think you beat it, congratulations, but don't do it again. Like if I went back to lying, well, now I'm a liar again.
Well, this goes back to if you cheat doesn't make you a cheater. It makes you have cheated so long as you understand that why you did it, what perpetuated that, and what will
and how did it
from
make people
ever happening.
feel?
Yes.
Most
Importantly.
Yeah, but the main reason I stopped cheating is that. Because, dude, I underestimated drastically how much pain that's causing people.
You and I are in the same boat.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I agree with you. I'm no longer a cheater. Have I cheated? Yes, I've cheated. Well, then you're a cheater. Once a cheater, always a cheater.
No.
Again, then what's the difference between that and alcohol?
One I am so adamant about being so distant from it. It's how I process. It's how I make sense with and come to peace in terms with something that I did for so long. Like Brad, when I quit, it was like,
but why can't you just forgive yourself?
I did. Grace, man.
That's
Grace,
right.
that's
Just,
right
I was
there.
a fucking loser. Bank next. Like
Exactly.
that, like you don't have to dwell on it.
No, and you don't want to. Shame, resentful behavior, right? Resentful thinking. And it is the quickest path actually back to drinking.
Wow.
So, I mean, dude, lots of therapy, 3 years of therapy, like white knuckle, wanting to throw up, blood, sweat, tears, and understanding like where I am in this world and where I belong and what I could achieve. So much of this business and Real Frequency started because of that metamorphosis of me realizing that was a different person. He was sick, who attracted very sick people. And that's part of like what happens when you're out there spreading negativity. You said it before. You're going to get negative people in your life that are going to they totally attract you. And then you think, oh, this is life. This is how we all operate. This is what success feels like, except everyone's just taking. No one's giving. You don't get anything back. You don't get fulfillment and joy. And it strips you and morally bankrupts you. And to the point of depression, anxiety, possibly more drug use, sexual proclivity, whatever it may be, that you realize that there are no options for me.
Out of all the vices, wouldn't the sex addiction be one of the best to have?
I think it's the one that hurts the most.
What are you talking about? Feels so bad. What are you talking about?
We can talk off camera about some of it, my experience and understanding of it.
I mean, sex addiction to a point where like you're like, jacking off 3 times a day in your fucking work office.
Well, that's a whole nother deal, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about like if you think of all the vices, Coke, your health is going to fucking fade. Right. Alcohol, your health is going to fade. Drugs and alcohol, your shit's going to go away. Your face is going to start showing signs of it. But sex, you just fuck a lot. That ain't harming you. Dude, I would rather, all I'm saying is if I'm going to be addicted to something, I would prefer it be sex. Why? Because fucking a lot ain't a big deal, and it probably is going to benefit you over time. Don't you think?
No, if you're doing it unprotected.
Well, again, there's all these buts, especially if you're doing it in the butt.
For sure. Furthermore,
that's nasty right there.
The butt.
See, now I just ruined the whole episode.
We got to cut that out.
Hey, for all the good people listening on his behalf, I do apologize. That was just my crude, elementary, juvenile behavior. We're gonna leave it in because we don't edit, but just act like we didn't say that.
No, I think just with anything, whether it's sex addiction, drug addiction, alcohol, whether it's
would you prefer I get rid of the butt comment?
Sure.
Hey, Benjamin. Hey, make a note. Make a note and let's clip where I said in the butt. Like that was a dumb one. This will be like the second or third time I've ever edited a show, but I'll edit it out only because I agree.
Okay, good.
That was fucking funny.
Your mom's gonna be like, I'm out.
All right, but let's go back so they can find a good place to just slice it and start again. So the addictions, in my opinion, you were running along, you were addicted, right?
Yes.
Then you said you went to grad school and you said I got to clean this up. Then you said I want to start helping other people. Basically, that's the pivot. Nothing crazy happened. You just said I need to start helping other people get clean and sober and making the right decisions and being positive as well.
That wasn't why I got sober. Why I got sober is I needed to clean up my life. I needed to believe in myself before I.
What caused you to think that though?
Despair, hallucinations.
Damn.
Losing my family. I had 2 little boys at home. Are you kidding me, man? Like,
how's that right now? Are they back?
Amazing. Oh, yeah. Oh.
So you were losing the 2 little boys. You were fucking it up.
100%. And
how old were you though?
In my early 30s.
So how come you're only talking to 15 and 25-year-olds? You just want to get to them early?
Right. Correct. So,
but you can honestly help older folks.
We work with the Honor Foundation, which works with military veterans and special forces as they transition to civilian life. And the same assessments, the same work that we do with them is the same exact work we do with our young students in high school. It's almost identical.
So folks, whether you're a parent, whether you're a coach, or whether yourself, resonates with some of the things we're talking about, I would encourage you to reach out to realfrequency.com.
That's right.
Or follow them on social media at Your Real Frequency.
Correct.
You can listen to his podcast, which I'm sure talks about this type of stuff all day long without my stupid interruptions.
I love it.
Your Real Frequency podcast. I know he has a interactive web-based training system. So this, some of the stuff that he offers can be on demand to get you going, at least to get you on the right road. On demand training. He's got one-on-one, he's got consulting, and they've been doing it successfully for quite some time.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
You've helped a lot of people.
Thousands. And we want to help more.
I was going to say, and hopefully this will reach some people and we'll have a story emerge from this podcast where we saved somebody some embarrassment, let's just say.
Let's just say that. Absolutely.
But dude, I appreciate you coming in.
This is amazing. Thank you. I'm super honored to be
here. When is your training system launching?
We will be live. It's in beta right now, but we're going to be live in 2 weeks.
Okay. So guys, if you guys want to go see this kick-ass interactive virtual training system, well, I was going to say technology, but it is a technology, but it's more of a system. Go to realfrequency.com/ let's just say real. Yeah. REAL.
Because we've got that symmetry.
Well, realfrequency.com/real, because he's going to put up a specific landing page for you guys because he's going to offer, he said he wants to give you guys a discount of some kind. But
I love your dropping bombs. I've been a fan for a long time, but I love your audience. They're super interactive and they're real too.
They're all over the place, dude. I guarantee a 15-year-old, believe it or not. I walked out the other day on a stage and the lady waited for a while and I came out and she goes, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "My 4 boys love you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." One of them was 14. I'm like, dude, I got 14-year-olds. See, that's another reason why I want to clean up my mouth.
Oh,
because like I don't realize that anyone's actually listening.
Right. You have a lot of listeners.
I do have a lot of listeners, and I got to start remembering some of those are impressionable. Some of those are young, and I got to be more, I think, considerate by, let's say, filtering what I say. Then people say, well, oh, you're being a sellout. It's not necessarily a sellout. Like I said, you might be offended if I say fuck every other word, but you wouldn't be offended if I didn't.
Right. Well,
so if I don't, I won't offend anybody, but if I do, I'll offend some people. And then I think to myself, it was my honest, authentic self thinks to myself, well, who gives a fuck? Why? Well, because dude, if you get offended over a word, you need to call Real Frequency.
That's right.
Like you got a mental issue, you got problems. If a word triggers you, it's just a word. Right. What do you care? And protecting
people from stuff that, I mean, just shouldn't be protected from.
Yeah, but that's one hand I think that.
Yeah,
and then I think, well, what if my little girl walked in and said, hey, Dad, what the fuck's up? Would I like it? and the answer would be no, she shouldn't be talking like that. Then why should Daddy?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So let's just call it, look, I'm constantly evolving. You're watching a new version. Right now I'm in the caterpillar cocoon stage and you're starting to see the new butterfly, and the new butterfly won't be as crass.
Oh, well, let's just say that 14-year-old does find you amusing, but also is learning a shitload about business, a shitload about life, the real life, because that's what you're all about, is talking about real life. So are we. Clear, direct, and honest. A lot of the times that's not easy.
Best way to be.
Thank you. The best way to be. And he probably appreciates that as in his young mind, maybe even if he can't verbalize it, but I bet you that's a part of the reason he's a fan.
Well, dude, you're going to come back again one of these days. Folks,
absolutely.
Go follow this cat at Your Real Frequency on social media. And as always, until next time, keep it real.
Do something a little bit more than yesterday. Have 2 less French fries. That's a win, man. And if it isn't a win, who gets to decide? Who are you listening to? You decide. So why the fuck would you decide it's not a win if it is a win? Because to me, as long as you're moving forward, you're okay.